Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful Saturday morning on Bold TV. We're here once again to bring you an irrelevant and an interesting topic, which is titled mindfulness. So today, my co-host and I are here to talk about the topic mindfulness. But before we begin, I would like to, inform you that Bold TV is brought to you by Bold Hearts Initiative, a network of beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities. And we come your way every Saturday morning by 10:30 a.m. to inform, educate, and sometimes entertain you on issues regarding disability, specifically issues regarding women with disabilities. So today, we'll be addressing the issue of mindfulness. And before we start, I'd like to reach out, and say hello to those of us who are out there voting. Today happens to be the presidential elections in Nigeria, and today will mark a turning point in our polity. It will mark a turning point in the governance of this great nation. So today I'm going to, I'm just saying to those of you out there, go out, exercise your rights, vote, and let's, be part of those who contribute to the change that we want. We cannot say we want change and then do nothing. So the one thing you can do is to go out there and vote wisely. Choose the candidates that you know will bring about the change you desire. So go out there, stay safe, and exercise your rights. Thank you. So we will now move on to our topic for today. But before we do so, I want my co-hosts to introduce themselves.
Hello, ladies. Good morning, everybody. I remain Osaki Teresa George. I reside in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Work with Fair Care Foundation, Polio Warrior. I'm into other things like motivation and also advocate for people with disabilities when it comes to our rights. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. You're welcome. So I'll introduce myself. My name is Affiong Etim. I'm a medical lab scientist. I'm based in Rio, and I'm a member of Bold Hearts Initiative, and I'll be your host for today. So let's get right down to the topic. So first of all, when we say mindfulness, many people, we hear a lot of it, mindfulness. Sometimes we think it's this, I don't know what exactly comes to mind, but at least one word, one part of that word stands out, which is mind. So I'll start with your Saki. When you hear the word mindfulness, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The first thing that comes to my mind, I heard mindfulness, looks like carefulness, like being careful, conscious. But I later checked, I did a little research, and it's all about meditation. It's like a type of meditation where you are being focused intentionally, what you are sensing and feeling without, at the moment, without being judgmental or trying to interpret it. You're just being careful. You just have to observe yourself on a particular thing that you're trying to get there. At that moment, you're meditating on whatever you're trying to do, but not being like judgmental or trying to interpret it either right or wrong, but just trying to be conscious and focused. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. You mentioned some keywords there when it comes to mindfulness. Being conscious, focusing on, what it is that is going on at the moment, and not, trying to explain it or trying to rationalize, just focusing on being conscious of what is going on. All right, Frankie, you're back. Please introduce yourself and then share with us your thoughts on mindfulness.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry, I had to change my chair. My name is Frankie Andresian. I'm based in Port Harcourt in Rivers State. I'm a member of Bold Hearts Initiative, the ED of Fair Care Foundation, and a public health professional, among other things. So with respect to the topic mindfulness and the question which asks what is the thing that comes to your mind, just like you said, Affiong, inside that word, mindfulness, are two keywords. So when you look at the mind, it talks about a level of consciousness. a level of consciousness. So that's what we're referring to when we look at mind. And then when you look at the word fullness, it speaks about 100% or being present. That fullness talks about something being full. So if I take mindfulness and I look at it, for me, it's being present per time. So you're being mindful per time. So I'm present in the moment. And just like it has been said, it's not about you evaluating a situation. It's about being conscious, being present in the now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for breaking it down. Mindfulness, being full, like you said, two keywords, full and mind. Being full of your mind, being present, knowing what is going on in your mind in the present, not calculating where it is going to or where you're coming from, but just it focuses on the present. Mindfulness focuses on the present, where you are right now, what you're doing right now, what you're thinking right now, just being aware of it. Many times we go through the day, there are so many thoughts going through our minds, we are planning about tomorrow, we're thinking about yesterday, but more often than not, we are not aware of now. We often, because now it's already happening, so we just ignore it and focus on what comes next. So mindfulness helps you to just stay in the now, knowing what is going on with me right now. Why is it happening? What is going on? And then it helps you to understand yourself better. So because as we have already, since we have laid a foundation about mindfulness and what it is about, we are now going to move on to, how the particular areas in which we can practice mindfulness. What are those areas in our lives that we can practice? It's something that we can apply to every area, or are there specific areas of our life we can, apply mindfulness to? So I'll come back to you, Frecky.
Yes, mindfulness is something that we need to intentionally do, because you can do it formally or informally, but in the course of our daily lives, we should try to practice mindfulness. So one of the key areas that you can actually practice mindfulness is work, because it's possible to fall into monotony and not really think about what you're doing and not applying yourself extra. So one of the areas that you could try to apply mindfulness could be in the area of work. Why am I saying this? Because in the area of work, it is easy to want to do 1,001 things at the same time. That's multitasking. And while that is beautiful, sometimes you may need to be mindful about maybe a certain workspace or a certain activity. So in the place of work, you can practice mindfulness, especially on a task. Another place you can practice mindfulness is when you're eating. Because if you eat absent-mindedly, you might just eat because you're just eating. But if you take your time to be present in your meal and savor every bite, every chunk, you would savor your meal, enjoy your meal, and you tend not to overeat. Another one with respect to mindfulness is that you can practice is just stopping for a moment and probably taking a breath in the course of a very busy day. And that's why I said it can be intentional. And that is one way that this can be very intentional. Just stop, like in the course of a very busy day, and just breathe. So those are ways. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. That was quite explicit. Work. Many times we just, because, if it's been doing that particular activity for a long time, we tend to just, I already know what to do. So we are not paying attention so much to what we are doing. So we just breeze through it. We're already thinking of, when work will close, let me go home. So we're not focusing on the work. Are we giving our best? Why are we doing this? Is there another way we can do this? We're not there. We're not present when we're doing the work. We're just like using, residual knowledge. I've always done this, so it's not a big deal. Let's just move on. And then about eating. Yes, that's another thing that we are all guilty. Most of us are guilty of. Most times when we eat, especially when we sit in front of the TV, you're eating, you're not paying attention. You can finish, food that you would normally not consume, the amount of normally not consume, because you're not paying attention. Your mind is distracted, and when you're distracted, there's a tendency, for your mind is no longer listening to your body, connected to your body to tell you when it is okay, when you can stop. So your mind is distracted, so you can finish 3 cups of curry, you won't even know, because you're not paying attention. And then another thing is, when it comes to relaxation, most often than not, we are so busy running through the day, we feel it's a waste of time to stop and just breathe in and out and just know this is what, let me just take a rest and just know, okay, I am here now. And, that's one thing, by the end of this episode, we'll actually carry out a practical exercise that can help us to be more, to stay in the present. Thank you. Osaki, over to you. What are some other areas that we can be mindful?
Okay. I have like 3 areas that I want to talk about. One is walking like you're moving. Especially most of us that use crutches. Most at times you just fall. You're like, how come? Why did I fall? Like, because you're not looking at where you're not being present. So it happens to me a lot of times. As in, at times that I've reached a particular destination. Meanwhile, I'm still at one place. So my mind has reached that place. My body has never moved. So you need to be mindful and like check where you're going, check the crutches, check the wheelchair. Just check so that your body and your mind can move at the same time. Not your mind moving before you. Other most of us will fall most times. We know there's water there before you're on the ground and you've never gone anywhere. And that one I would like to talk about is talking. Because of the way the brain works, you've already said what you shouldn't have said. It's in your mind. You say, okay, it's true. Before you know it, something will slip out that, no, I should have said this. So let's check. As we are talking, we are moving with our brain so that we don't talk faster than expected. And the last thing I want to talk about is our phones. Be mindful of the different networks we join. As a lot of networks, we have so many groups. At the end of the day, you will not even participate or even open your WhatsApp group. Or you're like, I'm in this group. The intention was, why are you there? And not just join so many groups without being meaningful or impactful. Just try and know that if it's only one group, let that group be your focus so that you have the message and intention. Thank you.
You mentioned about walking. Preki said walking, carrying out your assigned activities. In your own case, you said walking. That means mindfulness is also key in even routine activities, those small things we do every day. Walking, if you're not paying attention, it can lead to, consequences that you didn't bargain for. And then you talked about talking. That is one thing that many people do not even. When you are mindful in conversation, it minimizes, offense. It also helps you to be more aware of where you're coming from, what is happening in your head, coming out of your mouth. And then you're also considerate of the other person. You're not just talking anyhow, regardless of how you feel. Mindfulness can help you be aware of the emotion, know how to communicate effectively. So what are the benefits of mindfulness? Osaki, starts.
Thank you very much. Mindfulness is very good. I didn't even really know that this is so important. It eases off stress, like stress. So if you're being mindful, as in you just have a pleasant day. So many things you would have jumped into and get into trouble, you'll be out of it. You just take it one step at a time. It also improves self-esteem. And it also reduces anxiety and depression. So all those eagerness, just one step at a time. You just do activity as it goes. You see that everything will take its shape the way it ought to be. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You've mentioned some key points there. It reduces anxiety, because when you're mindful, you pay attention to what's happening, what's going on. You can understand yourself and also know how to respond and help yourself recover. We also talked about, self-esteem, because mindfulness helps you to be aware of yourself and know how to, regulate yourself and help yourself to respond to different situations. All right, Freki, can you add to that? Benefits of mindfulness.
Okay, thank you very much. So with respect to health, and taking from the cue of reducing stress inadvertently, what that does is that it could help to control and reduce blood pressure issues. So when you're in control of, if you're mindful, it also helps you in, your mental health, because what it does is that it doesn't allow you to focus on things that are irrelevant, but you're present, so you're focused on the now, and it helps you to make informed decisions. Another thing that mindfulness is beneficial for us is with respect to self-awareness. It improves your self-awareness. And finally, I would say it improves your focus. It helps you to be a better focused person. I'd like to add that it makes your output better. It improves your outputs. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. You mentioned focus, which is one thing nowadays people are so distracted, keeps you focused on what matters, not trying to do everything at the same time. It keeps you focused on a particular task per time so that you accomplish it and before moving to the next one. And then you've also talked about, the aspect of health, blood pressure, because when your mind is all over the place and you don't have control over what's going through your mind, it is possible that is what often leads to anxiety. And then before you know it, your blood pressure goes up and hypertension sets in. So these are some key issues. And I'd also like to add that mindfulness helps you regulate your emotions so that you don't overreact in circumstances or underreact. You just know appropriately because you understand yourself, you know your triggers, you know what could make you angry, you understand what could make you sad, you understand what could make you happy or excited, you can regulate your emotions and you know how to respond. So mindfulness helps you become aware of your emotions and how to regulate them. All right, so now we're going to move on to, Frankie.
Yeah, I would like to add one more benefit, and I think it's important, especially for the time that we are in. Mindfulness helps one to be a better leader, because while you may have plans for the future, when you step into the present, the people's present, it helps you to make better decisions with respect to what's going on in their lives. So I'm saying that with respect to the current situation where we find ourselves, because we cannot shy away from the conversation, that even though you have a plan and intention, if you per time assess it or you come into the present state and see how maybe that decision you made is affecting people, it can help you as a leader to be better motivated to do better or to address the situation currently. So mindfulness helps you to be a better leader. Thanks.
All right. That is very key, especially in the times we find ourselves in. For so long, we have been, we've had leaders who have not, bothered to take the time to focus on what is going on per time. They are not aware of what is going on with the people. And so more often than not, their policies are off key. So they do not know what's going on and how to help because they are not aware of current reality. And I also want to add that in as much as it helps a leader to be more effective, it also helps. Mindfulness is key for followers as well, because if you're not mindful in the first place, you will all follow someone you shouldn't, who does not even know where they're going. So when you're a mindful follower, you will also know the kind of leader you need. Someone who can, address the current issues and help you get to where you need to go to. You will not follow blindly because you are aware of what you need and you know who can help you get it. So even as we go out to vote, let's be mindful. Let's not just vote because, I'm there to vote or maybe carried away by sentiment. Let us be mindful even as we are voting. All right, thank you very much. That was very pertinent to this time. So now we are going to move to practical ways that we can be mindful. How can we practically do this? We've talked about benefit, we talked about where it can be applied. How can we do this practically? How can someone be mindful? What are the steps they can take? Maybe in the course of each day, how can they be mindful? All right, Frankie.
Okay, I would say being intentional about mindfulness is one key step to take, especially in the area of work. I'm for multitasking. You need to see me multitasking. I'm very good at it. But I also understand that sometimes you may need to pause and focus on something to get it done faster. So I would say be intentional about your task. in sharing your task to your time so that you can be mindful or present in that task. Another way you can do that is, I mentioned it earlier, is do a breather. Afion will show us exercises. You may want to actually do those exercises. I know some people who take breaks in between work. So what I mean by breaks is, for example, I'm guilty of not taking breaks, but I know it's important, so I'll say it. So if you open your laptop and you're doing something, even though you have assigned, let's say, an hour to it, yes, it's important that within that hour, you take an intentional 2 to 3 minutes break off that thing. Just take it off for a moment. And why that helps is that when you come back, you're able to focus better on that thing as opposed to staring at something for so long. So intentional breaks are good ways to practice mindfulness, because in those breaks, you could decide to do breathing exercises or whatever, but there are good ways to be intentional about mindfulness. Another one that you can, should I stop? Okay, another one that you can do in addition. Okay, one more. Okay, another one that you can do with respect to being intentional about mindfulness is that, you know, when we're growing up, when you hear meditation that time, you think that it's for occultic people. It's not true. So you can practice meditation. No? Meditation is the way a man of God that I respect and follow describe it, especially with Christians, is taking something and ruminating. That's going over it again and again and again. That's one way to do it. Another way is using peaceful sounds to just get some level of calm. So meditation is not a bad. So yeah, you can use it to practice mindfulness. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. 2 key things. You know what you said about meditation? Well, you know, everybody used to think it's only people in, you know, some, you know, non-Christian, you know, organizations that practice it, mystical, people that, you know, have this mystical, but it's not true. Even the Bible says, meditate on the word. You meditate. Meditate means you go think it over and over until it begins to make sense. It becomes a part of you. Whatever, even when you're not aware of it, every day you're meditating. Whether on the right things or on the wrong things. When you're worried, you're meditating on negative things, and that's when you see the impact on your body. When you decide to focus on positive things, you also see the impact in your health. Osaki, please add to that.
Well done, lady. Thank you very much. What I will add now is being one of the practical tips of mindfulness is I have a routine checklist, like itinerary. Write the activities of that day, what you want to do, so that you can just be ticking them as it's going. And know that you cannot do at that moment. Don't struggle with it. Maybe come back later and see why you couldn't meet that particular target. But that itinerary will really help you know the things you have to do that are important and they are meaningful, not having all the plans and you couldn't even achieve them the way you want to. Another one I would take is that when you're being exhausted, try and have, like what Frankie said earlier, if you have, there are some songs that could keep you relaxing, you play those songs. Like I'll say, for people that are into religious belief, some will use the Bible or whatever that when they listen to, it keeps them at peace, at rest, or whatever talk that could just relax your mind, so that whenever you want to have an active, you want to be active again, everything will go as planned. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So you've mentioned, you know, meditate, music to relax, you know, preferably, you know, in some cases, either something you know will not, you know, put your mind into a state, stimulate your mind, but something that will help your mind relax. You don't have to think about it. Preferably instrumentals, you know, slow music that will just help you relax. And as you're listening to it, you feel your body relax. That is one way. And you've also talked about, you know, how people can help themselves by having a to-do list. It helps you to focus. you know what you need to do per time, and then you can, just follow it up one by one. Even if you miss one, does not mean that, your day has gone bad. You can always, like you said, come back to it. And I'd also like to add that another way of practicing your mindfulness begins the moment you wake up in the morning. From the minute you wake up, before you jump out of bed to go and start running around, take a few minutes for yourself. Just lie down for a few minutes. You're not, feeling sleepy. You won't sleep, or you sit up and just sit down and think about the day ahead. Begin to tell yourself what you want to achieve in the day ahead. Tell yourself how you want the day ahead. Begin to see it in your head, how your day will go, so that it will guide the actions you take, the choices you make, because this is the kind of day I want. So you start knowing, today I want to have a peaceful day. And so even if you find yourself in a place of conflict, you will act in a way that you will try as much as possible to avoid, situations that will bring you stress or, take away your peace. So you will focus, and you know that today I have planned that today this is how my day. You know what to avoid and what to confront. You know whether, today I don't want to stress myself. And if you find yourself in a place where, you feel agitated, take some time off and just relax. Take a breath. Not just if you just take a breath and just relax and know that, no, I am not going to engage in this because it's not going to help me at this moment. So mindfulness begins from the moment you wake up. You see your day ahead and know how to begin to work towards achieving all that you have planned. So that at the end of the day, you can say, yes, today has been an amazing day. Not because everything went exactly as you wanted, but because you were able to maintain your state of awareness. You were able to keep yourself calm throughout that day. So now we are going to move on to, we are going to do a brief exercise, a breathing exercise that can help you relax and, be mindful. So we're going to start. My co-hosts are going to assist me. I'm just going to give you instructions. And first of all, just sit down. Make sure you're in a place where you can relax. Sit down, relax. If you want to close your eyes to avoid distractions, you close your eyes. So first of all, we're going to relax. We're going to close our eyes. I know, yes, there are distractions around, but just try to keep your eyes closed so that there's no distraction in your view. And then we'll all close our eyes. And then we are going to breathe in and out. When you're breathing in, you count 1 to 4. Hold your breath for another 4 seconds. Count 1 to 4 while you hold your breath, and then you breathe out. Count 1 to 4 as you're breathing out. We're going to do that 3 times, and just watch as you're doing it. Inhale as you inhale what you want. Say you want peace. Just in your mind, imagine yourself breathing in peace. And then as you're breathing out what you don't want, imagine yourself just breathing it, sending it out of your body. So we're going to close our eyes now, and in the next 2 minutes, we're just going to do that. So first and foremost, close our eyes. So breathe in, you count 1 to 4. Hold your breath for another 4 seconds. Then breathe out. Breathe in peace. And breathe out chaos. Breathe in healing. And breathe out whatever sickness. Imagine yourself breathing in calm. And breathing out anxiety. Take another deep breath. And breathe out. All right. Thank you very much. I'll say thank you to my co-host. It's something, this is just an example of what you can do. It doesn't have to take a long time. You can just apportion 5 minutes and maybe play some slow music in the background to keep you grounded. And as you breathe in, your mind will play a key role, because as you're breathing in, imagine what you want to get into your body. And as you're breathing out, imagine what you want to take out. You do this, even if it's 5 minutes during the course of the day. When you feel stressed, just take a few minutes out and do it. And I believe that if you make this a habit, you will see, changes in how you're able to face different situations. So I want to say thank you very much to my co-host. Thank you for, joining me on today's program. Thank you to our online audience, for those who are able to watch. I know many of us will probably watch this video later when we are back from voting, because we'll be at the polling unit at about now. So thank you for, tuning in to listen to us. And I hope that this will help someone out there to be able to, relax their minds and be more aware of what they need to do and help them to focus in whatever activities they need to, take care of. So to my co-host, Freki and Osaki, just, say one thing while we shut down. All right?
Please vote wisely. Be mindful in voting. Do not join any bandwagon effects. Let's do a lot of mindful voting. Bye.
Mindful voting. Vote with your conscience. Don't vote out of conscience.
All right, Osaki. What do you want to say?
Vote rightly. Vote with your conscience. Vote rightly. Don't vote out of conscience. Not with God. Sentiments. Right. Vote the right person.
Okay. But in case you don't trust somebody else's wisdom and do the right thing, you know what is good. We are all adults, so do the right thing. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you to our today by 10:30 a.m. Thoughts in terms of funds as we put up these videos. So many more people can benefit from the information here. So thank you for joining us once again. See you next week. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Just say bye. Bye.